We're good? We're recording? Okay. The Rambam at the beginning of Hilchos Talmud Torah tells us there are two mitzvos. One to learn Torah and one to give kavod and honor to those who teach Torah. So it's interesting the Rambam does not mention teaching Torah in the mitzvah. Here, he mentions it in the Minyan HaKatzar, but here he just says learning. And also it's important the Rambam counts learning and teaching within the same mitzvah. And the like, a couple of other important points, but now we start the halachas. Perek Aleph, halacha Aleph. Nashim ba'avadim p'tur Talmud Torah. So women are patur from Talmud Torah. So that is true. The Gemara says women are patur from Talmud Torah, but it's interesting that the Rambam says that women are patur, in that women have a lot to learn. Women have to learn a lot. The Rama writes in Yoredeya that women have a chiyuv to learn all the mitzvahs that are shaykh to them, which are Daled Chalkei Shulchan Aruch. Halavai, men should know Torah that women are obligated to learn. You know, all they have to know is Aruch Chaim, Yoredeya, Even Ezra, Choshen Mishpat. That's it. That's it. You don't have to know every nuance of every Nesivus. Okay, fine. You don't have to know every kasha of Rabbi Akiva Eiger in the third volume of the Shuvas. Right? They don't have to know exactly every one of those. They can if they want, according to many. But they're patur. So usually the Rambam says patur. We'll see later on when the Rambam talks about a woman who learned. That's at the end of Perek Aleph, where he talks about that. But here he says, Nashim avadim evet kinani, are chayv and mitzvahs like women are patur from Talmud Torah. Not because it is time-bound. Right? Torah does not have any time-bound essence to it. But it's a separate tour. There is a beautiful piece, if you never saw it, it's in the beginning of the Or Sameach right here, on Hilchos Talmud Torah. You have time tomorrow, we have shir on something else, not so you'll have time maybe if you want to review. Also, I thought giving Wednesday, Thursday a different topic is also, will give you time to review the week's shiurim. That if you want to use the time for that. 3 topics that we've done so far. But the Or Sameach on this Rambam says, let me tell you a secret about the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. Right? We just mentioned that it's not time bound. Says the Or Sameach, mitzvahs don't distinguish between different people. You know, every Jew is chayv in all mitzvahs. To make it different who you are. If you're Moshe Rabbeinu, if you are Bilam Marasha, if you are, any of us, mitzvahs are obligatory and all. Says the Or Sameach, Levaer, Be'emes, Kol mitzvahs shavim, Lefacho shebechusim. Hanan, you wanted to come say hello to everybody. Say hello to everybody. Hi. Yes. Strong tape. Maybe upstairs. Gonna run out. Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Says the close the door, please. Says the Or Sameach. MS. Kol mitzvahs shavim, Lefacho shebechusim, Moshe Rabbeinu. Says the Or Sameach. It doesn't make a difference who you are. Moshe Rabbeinu are the lowest. The Torah achas lachem tiv. Torah is for all. Chiyuv mitzvah gvul yesh la. Everybody has to shake a lulav and everybody has to blow shofar. Mitzvahs are for everybody. But, says the Rambam, Talmud Torah is also for everyone. But Hashem knows what each of us could do. And as the Stipler writes in one place, when do you have to learn Torah? Every free moment of your life. How do you define free? So that's a little tricky. Free for one person might be 10 minutes. Free for another person might be 4 hours. You know, we have to be honest with ourselves. Like the famous story that somebody came to Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, right? I only have 5 minutes to learn. What should I learn? Gemara or Musar? He says, learn Musar, because then you'll realize you have more than 5 minutes. So again, we have to know what our free time is. And again, there might be different stages of our life and different situations of our life. There might be different expectations when we're in yeshiva and when we're at home. Even now, we have to be realistic. We have to push ourselves, but we have to recognize that it's a little more challenging atmosphere. So it says there, Hashem knows though. Talmud Torah is on every person, but some people are able to sit longer than others. So lulav, that doesn't change. Everybody has to shake a lulav the same way. Everybody has to hear 100 kolos of shofar. Everybody does this, everybody does that. Everybody has to learn Torah during their free time. What is that? Only Hashem knows. So it's somewhat of a sliding scale, and it's the only mitzvah like that, says the Or Sameach. Mitzvahs Talmud Torah. Also, Eno nechshav l'mafreya mitzvahs Talmud Torah v'yasafta degonecha ksiv. L'mashal adam chaluch hamezeg kol echad lefi hachrechiyut lefi argelo. Let's say somebody has ADD. They can't sit so much. Somebody has this. Somebody has that. Whatever it is, Hashem knows what we could do, and we have to do the most. But we can't look at a friend and say, "Oh, look what I'm doing. Look what they're doing." No, we have to just look at ourselves and figure out the kochos that we have. And the mitzvah of Talmud Torah fits into our life in that way. Eino dome b'chiyav Talmud Torah, says the Or Sameach. Somebody whose whole life is learning Torah. Oh, it's like, what else would you want to do? On the one hand, I'm in my study as much as I can every day, besides every 10 minutes when I'm called out and have to fix a Zoom. One of the kids who their Zoom class isn't working and it's the wrong entrance, and then I have to WhatsApp another parent in the class. I mean, it's the whole day, like, Baruch Hashem, all the different computers and who's using this laptop and that laptop and the computer, and they can't be in the kitchen. So a lot of things going on. But like, theoretically, if I could be in my study all day, there's nothing more that I want. But it's just not in my study all day. It's like, try to run down and, but some people would say being in your study all day, that's like Gehenna. Don't you want to go out and I can spend an hour in your study learning, but it depends on the person, whoever person is. Everybody has their own, ritzonos, and we have to mold ourselves to love Torah and to try to do what we can. But says the Or Sameach, it's not time bound. It's not time bound. And that's why the Rambam says here, women are patur not because it's time bound. It's a special limud in the Gemara in Kiddushin that women are pturos. But again, that's only from the mitzvah of Talmud Torah per se. The mitzvah of preparing to know how to do mitzvot, that is crucial. Again, so if you never saw that Or Sameach, it's worthwhile to read. It's only a paragraph and a half. The Meshech Chochmah writes of the Or Sameach. The women and avadim are patur of Talmud Torah. Let's just read the rest of the halacha. Avokatan aviv chayev olamdo Torah. The child, a father is chayev to teach Torah. Interesting, you might have heard there is a chakira in the mitzvah of chinuch. Anybody ever hear discuss the mitzvah of chinuch? Is the mitzvah on the parent or is the mitzvah on the child? Have you had that discussion? It's Machlokas Rashi and Tosas, maybe in Mesechet Brachas. If you look in the Rambam has different formulations in different areas. Here he says it's a mitzvah on the father to teach the son. It doesn't say the son is obligated. The mitzvah on the father to teach the son. In the Isha chayev l'lamed is not, the mother does not have a chiyuv to teach her son. Again, the connection between limud and l'lamed. There are many halachas that have to do with limud and l'lamed, but that is the Rambam l'mod of l'lamed. So you have the Or Sameach. Again, each one of these is jam-packed. We're just touching a little tip of the iceberg in some of these halachas, but each one is crucial. Okay, let's get back to our discussion of Yibum and son and daughter and brother. Son and daughter, and we're simple Jews. We're trying to understand one line in the Gemara. That's all we want to do. Rabbi and Rav Ashi wrote this almost 2,000 years ago. At least they put it together. And we just want to know what pshat is. What's the pshat of this line of Klum Yeish Yibum El B'Makam She'ein Ben B'Makam She'ein Ben Ein Yibum? What does that line mean on Kuf Ches Amud Beis? So we saw two, maybe three opinions in the Rishonim. Tosfos and the Rashbam seem to be very similar. They both say that this line is saying that son beats brother. In Yibum, son beats brother. And that's why at the end of the day, it's 3-0. It's 3-0, so to speak. It's Yud and Steachuza and Yibum. 3-0. The Gemara, if you saw the Rashbam on the top of the next Amud, you kind of said that Steachuza isn't the real thing. The Gemara, maybe this is what Eli was referring to yesterday, that really Steachuza is based on Yud in another Gemara. So really Yud is the main one, because that's where the Torah says Beferish, son. And Steachuza is learned from there. But either way, it's Yibum goes on the side of the son, not brother. It's not neutral, right? That's what the Rashbam says. Tosfos says it's because of the next Amud of Gemara. Because Daf Kuf Tes, daughter beats brother. If Ben was equal to Ach, and the only reason it wins is because of Yud, then daughter shouldn't beat Ach, because daughter doesn't have Yud and Steachuza. So that was Tosfos's raya, that it must be that Ben beats Ach, and so too daughter then would beat Ach. And that's why it is first. So Tosfos brought the raya from the Gemara, and then Tosfos brought the Svara. Tosfos brought the Svara, which the Ritva really emphasized and clarified. Right? Tosfos says it a little bit, but the Ritva really emphasizes. What does the Ritva say? A son, how do you know a son is better? Because he just exists. He doesn't have to do anything. Because being him prevents Yibum. He is making shame of it. While the brother has to do something. Right? He has to act on to perform Yibum. That shows that he's not as much of a central figure. That's the Ritva. Again, he's not as much of a central figure because he has to do something. He doesn't just exist. That's what we ended with. Anybody have any thoughts about that logic? Agreeing, disagreeing? Again, the Ritva says, Tosfos, he says it in a line, but the Ritva says, just being there is stronger. That shows, that's a raya brura, right? That's the language of the Ritva. It's a raya brura that the son is stronger because he doesn't have to do anything. The brother, he has to do something. That shows that he's weaker. It shows that he doesn't have a central of a role because he has to do something. So let's keep that in. And start again. Okay, so the Ritva said, based on Tosfos also, that because he just stands in and he doesn't even have to do anything, that shows that he's more of a central figure. Fine, but that's Tosfos and the Rashbam. We did note that the Rashbam might be more of just a natural logic, while Tosfos is more of a came to it because of the problem of the next Gemara. Then he has the logic at the end as well in the last line. But then we saw the sheet of the Baal Hamar. Baal Hamar doesn't broadcast that he's arguing, but it seems like in his Lashon that he is arguing on Tosfos, and this is how some Achronim understand it. It's what Tosfos rejects. Remember, when Tosfos says Ein Lefaresh, that means there must be somebody is Mefaresh. So the Baal Hamar says, when the dust settles, Ach wins because of Yud. Because of Yud. So we said, what do you mean because of Yud? Because of Yibum, he should win, not just because of Yud. Right? So we said that kind of shows us maybe that according to the Baal Hamar, Yibum is canceled out by the two. That there's an equal between Ach and Ben, and there's not a win by Ben, and that is why he says what he says. Why would the Baal Hamar say this? Why would the Baal Hamar say this, make it equal, right? After all, maybe he knows that Raya from Tosfos on the other side of that Kuf Tes. Why would he say this? Yeah, Avrami.
Because at the end of the day, by Yibum, right, the Ach is still involved. The Ach still takes the place of his brother. Granted, it might be when there's only no son, but when there is no son, then the brother is taking the full role. Meanwhile, by Yud, the brother cannot get involved whatsoever, and it's purely the Ben. Maybe the Baal Hamar wouldn't be saying necessarily that Yibum is completely canceled out, completely equal, but Yud is definitely much, much stronger of a proof than Yibum.
Okay, so you're saying it might not be. You're saying logically, it's still Yud is stronger. I'm telling you, the Baal Hamar might be saying that there's an equality here between Ach and Ben. They're equal. So we'll have to try to figure out what might tip him off in saying that. So you're saying kind of logic, so we'll have to see. Yes. Good, Naftali.
In the Gemara, the fact that it even brings up Yud for the son, because when you think about it, the fact that he cancels out Yibum means that it can't go to the brother because the son already exists and there's no advantage for the brother at all. So the fact that it even brings up Yud as a plus for the Ben shows that it has to have some sort of it has to be a factor of some sort.
Yeah, I'm saying, what about Yibum? I'm saying, how does the Baal Hamar know that by Yibum, the Ach and the Ben might be cancel each other out? That they each play a role, like Tosfos says, like what Tosfos said, Ein Lefarish, Komarhin Shavin. Right? That's what we're saying, that maybe the Baal Hamar holds that they're Shavin. Why would he think that, and how would he know that?
That's what I'm saying, because because of the fact, because Yud seems to be a factor, that must mean that Yibum isn't, which would mean that they'd have to cancel it.
Okay. Let me just phrase it a little more positively. Exactly. Some point out, whenever the Gemara talks about Ben and Ach, if it's true that Ben is stronger, why doesn't the Gemara ever say that? Right? If it's so obvious that Ben is stronger, whenever the Gemara appears here, the Rashbam quotes it appears by Stei Achuza. The Gemara says, how do you always know Ben is stronger? From Yib, from Stei Achuza. It never says from Yibum. If the Ritva was right, and it's so obvious that Ben is stronger, then why does it always try the other way first? It always says, oh, Ach is stronger. And then it goes, no. Ben is there, Makam She'ein Ach. But one second, if it's so obvious, like the Ritva says, it's because the Ben exists, he doesn't even have to do anything, and he's obviously stronger because he doesn't have to do anything, and the Ach has to do something. Why doesn't the Gemara have to say that? The Gemara never brings Yibum in as a factor that Ach is weaker than Ben. That is first point. But the fact that the Gemara never says that points to tell us that sounds like maybe it's canceled out. Because the Gemara says, well, what about Ach? The Gemara says, Ach is, this is a point for Ach. They said, no. If there's a Ben, Ach doesn't get involved. So it sounds like from the Pasha of the Gemara that it's canceled out. And the fact that the Gemara never brings it as a point for the Ben. I think maybe it could be that maybe there's a Gemara that even hints this Balamar. I don't know where the Balamar might get it from, but maybe there's a hint to that Gemara in Yevamos that I told you to look at. Gemara in Yevamos, fascinating Gemara in Yevamos. Chaf Daled Amid Aleph. Chaf Daled Amid Aleph, a Gemara in the second parak of Yevamos. The Mishnah there on that Chaf Daled, hope you saw it. The Mishnah says that the mitzvah for the oldest brother to do Yibum. 5 brothers, the oldest brother. Mitzvah begadol liyabim. The younger one does it, fine. Zoche. But it's a mitzvah begadol liyabim. How do you know that? Tana Rabbanon. Says the Gemara. Bahaya habachor. Pasuk. Look up the pasuk if you didn't see it. The pasuk in Varim. Bahaya habachor sher teled yakim al shem achiv ames. Every word in that pasuk is crucial. Abachor. Let's just translate the words. Abachor, the firstborn. Asher teled, that she gives birth to, yakim al shem achiv ames. Will stand up on the name of his brother, the dead one. So says the Gemara, that word Bechor teaches us the oldest brother does Yibum. The mitzvah for the Gadol to do Yibum. That's not for us now, right? If she's an island and she cannot have children, then there's no Yibum. What does that mean? L'nachla. That's an important halacha. When a brother does Yibum, he gets the entire chelek of his dead brother, Yerusha. Meaning he doesn't just split it equally with the other brothers. When there are 5 brothers, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar. When there are 5 brothers, Reuven dies. Shimon does Yibum. Shimon gets Reuven's entire chelek of Yerusha. He doesn't split it equally amongst the brothers. That's l'nachla. He's yakum al shem achiv. The Gemara says. So, stop there for a second. So is that, as you saw in the Gemara, is that how we would have interpreted the pasuk if you would have asked us? Abachar asher teled. Pashtus, that's not what the pasuk means, is it? Abachar asher teled. The Bachar that's going to be born. That's talking about the kid. It's not talking about the brother. But Chazal is going to pick up on that in a second. And now the Gemara says, Ata Omer L'Nachla, is the pasuk referring to, by saying Yakum al Shem Achiv, is that referring to Nachla? Oh, Eino Elo L'Shem, or is it referring to the name of the future child? When it says he'll stand in his brother's, does it mean that the brother will take his brother's Nachla, or does it mean that the son will get the name? There's a mitzvah daraisa in this Havamina. The mitzvah daraisa to call the child that will be born the name of his dead father. The name of his dead, earlier, it wasn't his father because he died. Ata Omer L'Nachla Ein Elo L'Shem. Yosef, Koronos O Yosef. Yochanan, Koronos O Yochanan. That's what I might have thought. The Gemara says, no. No Merkan Yokim Al Shem Achiv. The Ner Malahalan al Shem Achiem Yekaru B'Nachlasam by Menashe and Ephraim. Ma'asham Amr L'Kala Nachla, just like Menashe and Ephraim Nachla. Avshem Amr Kala Nachla. Right? They were stood in Yosef's shoes. And the Gemara continues. Last line. Yavamis, I apologize. Where did I lose you? All of a sudden, you all got frozen, right? So the Gemara Yavamis tells us that Habachor Asher Teled, the Gemara has a suffix, a shakla vitaria, whether that means the son or the brother, which is fascinating. Every time the Gemara has a back and forth, you have to ask, what's behind this back and forth? It's not just a technical, what does the words mean? What's behind the back and forth? Does the word Habachor Asher Teled mean son that will be born, or the brother that's going into his dead brother's shoes? And the Gemara has a back and forth. What's behind that back and forth? And furthermore, what does the Gemara end off? I don't know if you lost me before I got to talking about the last line. What does the Gemara say? Even though in the whole Torah, Ena Mikra Yotzei Midei Pshuto, Hacha Asoy Gzeir Shava Afiktim Yipashte L'Gamrei. This is the only exception in Kol HaTorah Kula. Remember this Gemara. Yvamitz Chaf Daled, famous Gemara. It's a halachic famous Gemara. The only exception to the rule of Eina Mikra Yotzei Midei Pshuto was this pasuk right here. Habachor Asher Teled. Why? Because the Pashup Pshat here is totally rejected. All other areas of Torah, what is the Gemara saying? The Pashup Pshat is always learned. We have additional levels of interpretation also. We have many levels of understanding. But we at least have the Pashup Pshat. Can't reject the Pashup Pshat. It's not only the Pashup Pshat, that's the first level. Here we reject it totally. Because what's the Pashup Pshat? Habachor Asher Teled. The Pashup Pshat is the child. Will stand in front of, right? It will stand in the stead of the dead person. And what do we say it means? No, it means the brother. Habachor Asher Teled means the brother. So we totally reject the Pashup Pshat. Parenthetically, just a Mar Makom to be aware of. Ramban in Sefer HaMitzvos, in Shoresh Beis. Ramban in Shoresh Beis says, the Gemara does not say, Ein HaMikra Ela Pshuto. It's not that the pasuk is only for the Pashup Pshat. It doesn't say Ein HaMikra Ela Pshuto. It says Ein HaMikra Yotzei Midei Pshuto. Meaning it's not only the Pshat. Can't reject the Pshat, but it doesn't mean it's the only Pshat that we have. That's an important line. The Ramban in Sefer HaMitzvah says that. But this is the Gemara in Yevamos Chaf Daled. So again, what's important, and then Eli, I'll take your comment. Number one, what's the back and forth between whether this is son that will be born or brother? And number two, why is this an exception? If this is an exception to the rule, why wasn't the Torah clearer? Why did the Torah mislead us? All right, this is the only exception to the rule. Don't understand that as Pashup Pshat. So why did the Torah say it? The Torah shouldn't have written it this way. It's always, the Pshat is always important, and then you have the Drash and then other levels. Here, the Torah totally rejects. Here's an exception. Why would the Torah do that? Yes, Eli.
Rabbi, if we totally reject the Pashup Pshat of the pasuk, that it's not talking about the Bechor that's born to them, why do we say that if a Saris and the Elonis, they don't have that the Yibum doesn't apply to them, if it doesn't even matter about
the word Bechor we say is Eina Mikra Yotzei Midei Pshuto. The rest of the pasuk we darshan and we understand the words Asher Teled. It has to do something with Leda. So still, the brother has to be able to impregnate this woman and have a child. So it's still, you still could understand that as Pshat. The rest of the pasuk is just the word Bechor is not understood as the Bechor, the child that will be born, but it's understood as the brother. So why would the Torah do this? And what's the back and forth? So maybe, again, this is a suggestion. Maybe the reason the Torah wrote this is exactly our point. To emphasize the role of the brother here. Brother is Ke'ilu the son. He's stepping into his brother. It's as if he's his brother's firstborn son. It's Ke'ilu. Because the firstborn son is really the one that steps into the shoes of the father. Maybe that's why he gets a double portion. We'll have to talk about that at some point. But maybe the Torah writes it this way to give us the feeling that it's the brother that plays such a central role. Equal maybe to the potential son that would be born. And maybe that's back and forth in the Gemara. The Gemara says, maybe the brother, maybe the son, maybe it's the brother getting the Nochlin, maybe it's the son getting the Yerusha, maybe it's the son, he can be called the same name. Maybe that back and forth is exactly where the Balamor got his Shita from. And maybe there's an equal back and forth. Again, the Gemara is talking about a potential son being born. And we're talking about a son that's born that prevents Yibum. It's the same idea. A son and a brother in this relationship might both have equally central roles. We'll have to talk about exactly how that works. Maybe this is a remez to the Balamor's opinion. That it's not just that the son is central, just because you say, oh, if there's a son, there's no brother. But this Gemara, the pasuk says, the pasuk calls him a bachor, and it's talking about the brother. Why would the Torah do that? Maybe to emphasize his role. Yeah, Naftali.
Are we saying that the brother is like the son, or that he just has the same strength as the son?
He plays a central role in continuing his brother's legacy as much as a son would in that way. That he plays as much of a central role in terms of Yakum al Shem Achiv. The interesting horror though I was looking around, is there any remez in the pasuk why you would interpret Bechor to mean brother and not child? Dov.
This isn't directly relevant, but it seems in the Balamor that his reason seems to be more that Yibum, once we said that the ben is the ikar of the mitzvah, that since the entire purpose of the mitzvah is towards the son, you can't use it for general applications of the son's importance. Even though the son is the most important part, since the pasuk specifically says the purpose of the mitzvah is towards having a son for the mace, you can no longer use it as an example to prove that the son is generally more important.
Correct. I think it's Svara that is exactly what he's saying. The son is the ikar, and then the brother is there to produce a son, but that gives him a central role in the context. But is there any remez? Do you find any remez in the pasuk itself why Chazal would have done this? Anything tipped off Chazal as to, this is not talking about the son that potentially would be born, but the brother. Like the Gemara says, yeah. Abraham, you had your hand up?
Was the word Nachalatam, maybe?
In the pasuk, what is the word? The pasuk says, right? Yeah, Naftali.
If it's his brother, it can't be his son.
Why? If it meant the son, shouldn't it say Yakum al Shem Achi Aviv Hames? The son being born wouldn't be the brother of the dead guy. Yakum al Shem Achiv Hames. Remember, who died here? Reuven died without kids, and Shimon's doing Yibum. So Shimon's going to have Chanoch. So Chanoch is going to be Al Shem Achiv Hames. Who died? Reuven died. That's not his brother. That's the Ha'ara of the Ksava Kabbalah, Rav Mecklenburg, one of the greats from the 1800s. Right? He says, if it really meant the son, shouldn't it say, Who's this Bachar's real father? Shimon. And he's make him Reuven, so it's his father's brother. Yakum Hashem Achi Ha'av Hames. Achiv Hames sounds like it's talking about the brother and the dead brother. Maybe that phrase even tipped them off to understanding that it's not the shot of the son. 1 point. There's another hara also. If the Gemara was right, this Rav Hirsch pointed out on the pasuk. If the Gemara was right that it meant the son, shouldn't it say, like the Gemara says, that it's talking about the name? Shouldn't it say, Yikarei al Shem Ames? Not Yakum al Shem Achiv Ames? Yikarei. He'll be called by the person who died. Yakum, he will stand in like he's going to do something. Not just Yikarei. So maybe those two details in the pasuk kind of, pushed Chazal to understand it this way, that it's the brother that is standing in, to this case. I have the Rav Hirsch here. Rav Hirsch has a nice here. Rav Hirsch was written in German. Rav Hirsch's commentary. So I don't know German, so I have it in English. It was translated into English and in Hebrew. So both of them are one step away. Thus, a dying childless man may look to one of his brothers together with the wife he leaves behind him, and look to a married life and home as a continuation of his own married home life, as a continuation of his own existence and endeavors on earth. It says to himself, Lo yimach Shmimi Yisrael. When the brother is about to die, he knows his brother is going to step into his footsteps and marry his wife. He says, I'm going to be continued in the future. He's looking at his brother first. He's not looking at his son. But maybe those two are ramazim that it is son, and not the son, but the brother. But either way, why do we bring this Gemara? Maybe to suggest that maybe this is a smach to the Balamor against the Tosfos and the Rashbam, that it's more of equality. They both play a central role, and not the brother over the and not the son over the brother. So fine. Now we have to deal with the two problems that we left off with. Tosfos and the Ritva had two kashas, so to speak, on the other shita. One logic and one textual. Yeah, Yosef.
So the diuk that we're making in the Balam Or makes sense, but he says explicitly in the first line, Nimsa ben Ikar mitzvah, that the ben is the Ikar of the mitzvah. So how can you make a diuk at the end saying that the ben and the ach are equal if in the beginning we're saying clearly that the ben is the Ikar?
So I think that's what Dov was just explaining before. That the ben is the goal is the ben, and that's why if there is a ben, there is no yibum. That's what he used that phrase for. And it's the brother's job, though, to step into the shoes of that goal. That's how he. That's how we're interpreting it. That's how some Achronim interpret it. Right? You're right. Just that one line of ben is ikar is that's explaining the Gemara. B'makam she'ein Yeish ben, the ach has no place. So when there is a ben, the goal is achieved, and you don't even get to the ach. But once you don't have that ben, then the ach can play a central role in that case as well. Okay, so let's get back to our two questions. What do you do with Tosfos? Let's deal with the textual one first, and then we'll deal with the logical one. First, the textual one. So what do we do with the Gemara, Tosfos' Raya? Right? What was Tosfos' Raya? Tosfos said that the Gemara on Kuf Tesam and Aleph doesn't make sense because if it's equal, then why should the ben and bas equally beat ach? Bas doesn't have the. I'm just looking for my Toras Chaim here. Bas doesn't have the elements of Yud and Steachuza. So therefore, why should Bas win? If it's just equal, then Bas should be equal to Ach, not beating Ach on Kuf Tesam and Aleph. So why is it, and how is it that Bas could win? That was Tosfos' right, that it must be that Ben wins and Ach wins as well. So two suggestions how to answer that question. The one that I gave you from the Toras Chaim. From the Toras Chaim. Who saw the Toras Chaim? What does the Toras Chaim say? Anybody saw it? Avram, you saw the Toras Chaim. What do you say? What does he say?
He says that the Gemara can't be saying that the Bas would be good enough by herself to be, since that if the bas was better than the ach by Yibum, then the Gemara would have said that since the bas is better by Yibum, then that's why she goes first. But instead, the Gemara said that she goes together with the ben. So we see that her only reason she gets to go before the ach is based on her affiliation with the ben, not based on her own kedimus by Yibum. So we see that the bas is equal to the ben, to the ach by Yibum. And then the reason why she goes ahead is because she has the same value as the son by Yibum. So since by the son by Yibum they're equal, so too by Nachla will put the ben and the bas together.
Oh, let me I just can't find mine, so I'm just trying to find it on the shear thing that I sent you. The language of, was it after the Imre Moshe? Yeah, I think it's here. There it is. The Torah's Chaim, I sent it to you, right? Wrong one. Did I send it to you on the group thing? Here it is. I got it. I got it. Yeah. So the Torah's Chaim seems to say, again, this is what you meant, that really, 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 what does Yud teach me? I'd say not Yud. What does Yibum teach me? Yibum teaches me that whenever there's a son halacha, the daughter goes along with the son, unless known otherwise. Right? The language of the Kach nireh. Ben ubaz lo adifi me'ach le'inyan Yibum. Shavinheim. Right? He's being like that, like the Balamar. How our interpretation of the Balamar? Skip down, and when he quotes that question, what does it mean? Akamar mean when he put the bas? The then poter miyibam achanami bas poteres mina yibam. Lenin yibam means shum kedima ben yosemi bas. Shavaya patr kiyadadidenu. Alfinon mine bekulu duchti. V'yamrinon mistama. The bas shavel ben lachol dinin shebatora. Elim kenechi the goli krab ehedya. Ben adif. We learn from Yibum, says the Torah's Chaim. Chaim, by the way, is an early Achron. An early Achron. He died in the year 1632. 1632. Early Achron. So it says the Torah's Chaim. We have him on 8 or 9 Masechtas. Says the Torah's Chaim. Yibum teaches me the fact that Ben and Bas are equal, that Ben and Bas are always equal. Whenever there's a halacha that requires Ben or Bas, they go together unless known otherwise. So you're right, technically. Ben is the one that wins for Yibum and therefore for Nachla. But once you know Yibum, it doesn't matter that Yud doesn't apply, it doesn't matter that Steachuzah doesn't apply. Once you know Ben wins, Bas goes along with it. It doesn't explain why, but I'll just add one note of Hezber. Because when the Torah says Ben, maybe the point is, if it doesn't specify, if it doesn't limit it to Ben, we understand it as a child halacha, not a son halacha. If the Torah specifies son, not daughter, we understand it that way, then fine. That's what we have by Yud and by Steachuzah. Without those two exceptions to the rule, we learn from Yibum, just like by Yibum, if he has a son, if he has a daughter, right? They both pater. Right? You can look at the top Tosas, Kuf Tesam and Aleph. Talks about what the source is. How do you know that a daughter paters for Yibum too, not just a son? But the Torah Chaim says, Yibum teaches me that son always means children, unless otherwise figured out. So once we know that son wins by Yibum, so we know son wins by Nachla too. Son beats brother by Nachla, so daughter beats brother by Nachla. Because they go together in certain halachas, and that's what we learn from Yibum. That's the Torah's Chaim's answer to Tosfos' Raya. How do you know Bas goes earlier? Because Bas always goes with Ben unless you know otherwise. And here you know Ben and Bas both Yarshin. You're right, Ben before Bas. You know it applies to both, and therefore they can go together. One idea to get out of Tosfos' problem. Then there's another idea, and this I think maybe Eli, you alluded to yesterday. Kedusha Rav Meir Simcha. This is the see it there. Kedusha Rav Meir Simcha Cohen. Right, 2 volumes. So there, Sameach, or Meir Simcha, Meshachachma, all the same person, has one line where he says, okay, let's think about this again. Tosfos is kasha. Why does Bas win? Ben wins only because it has Yud and Steachuza, but Bas shouldn't beat brother. Says the Meir Simcha, fascinating. Bas doesn't win because Bas has any strength over Ach. Bas wins because Ach has a problem, has something inferior about it. It's not that Bas wins, it's that Ach loses. And why is that? Because Yiyud and Steachuza, they're shaykh to the brother. He's a man. He could get married to a woman. He can get Nochlin and Eretz Yisrael. And yet, what do you know? Ach does not do Yiyud. Ach does not buy the land for Steachuza. The daughter is mufka. She's not shaykh. The fact that a daughter can't do Yiyud, that's not a weakness for her, but she's a girl. She's mufka from the possibility of doing Yiyud. She's mufka from the possibility of Steachuza, because a girl doesn't get nachla. The brother is in that parsha, and yet he's excluded. That's a reisa. That's a problem with Ach. And that's why Bas wins. Not because Bas is stronger than Ach, but because Ach is weaker than Bas. It's an amazing way to look at it. Says Meir Simcha. Nira, mishum hai taima shave Ach leben. No, really, it's equal against Tosfos. Pshat HaGemara. Says that's the pshat. Rak ben kodem mishum to come tachas liyada. The Bas Shapir. Amar diadifa me'ach and why the Ach. Avagav Yibum shavim Bas. Mikamakom gara Ach mina. V'lo chachiv keben. Kemeno kam liyada keben. Aval Bas ainza griusa. Mishum delo Bas yata. Upashut. And this is obvious. So obvious that he was the first one to say. But that's from Meir Simcha, his comment of, so it's not that the Bas beats Ach, but the Ach loses to Bas. The both of those two answers, how we get out of Tosfos' Raya, the Torah Chaim and Rav Meir Simcha. Somebody had their hand up? Yaakov, yeah.
Two things. One, I couldn't exactly find the Gemara somewhere in the Kufklavs that talks about why Salavchad or Chachmanios or Darshanios, because they said that that they are equal to the sons when it comes to Yerusha, because by Yibum it says if there is no son, and daughters are count for that and exempt the brother from Yibum if there's a daughter, so they must be equal. So that seemingly is what the Torah is saying.
No, but the what Rav Meir Simcha said is that daughters get Yerusha, but they don't get Steachuza. That's the point.
First time.
They're not entitled to Steachuza, except through their father, like Benot Slavchad were. I think they're mufka. So they're mufka from those two. That's why it's not a reisa for either of them. Okay, that's those are two suggestions to answer those is kasha. The more fundamental question I want to deal with for a little bit is, what about the logical question? Right? What's the logical question? Right? The son, obviously, Yonatan, you with us? Right? Good. The son obviously plays a central role. Right? The Gemara says, if there's a son, you don't do Yibum. So, and the Ritva says, obviously he plays a central role because he just has to be there. He has to exist. The brother has to do something. He has to do Yibum. Right? So, how could we explain otherwise? How do we explain otherwise? So says so maybe one could suggest, close the door, please. One could suggest that first a surface statement, and then we'll have to analyze it a little more. You're right. How do you answer the Ritva's problem? You're right, he has to do something. He has to do Yibum. Maybe once he does Yibum, he's in. He's total. He's central. because he has to do something doesn't mean that he doesn't play a central role. He marries his brother's wife. He steps into his brother's shoes. He gets the entire Nochlin of his brother. Is that any less than a future son, a future boy being born to this woman? Even logically, just because he has to do something, shouldn't say that, oh, the Ritva is so convinced that the son is more central because it's automatic. Maybe not. He has to pull the trigger, but once he pulls the trigger, once he does Yibum, then maybe he plays as central of a role. Maybe it's even a little deeper than that. Maybe it's even deeper than that. And the Ritva said, hey, it's automatic for the son, and that makes it better. Maybe if you take a certain approach to Yibum, it's automatic for the brother as well. And that's how maybe they could be equal, Shavin. Again, the Ritva said the son is for sure more central than the brother because the son is automatic. The brother has to do something. He has to pull the trigger. Maybe if you take a certain approach to Yibum, it's also automatic for the brother. He has to pull the trigger. He has to do the act of Yibum, but maybe there's an element of automatic also for him too. What am I talking about? So that's why I gave you a couple of sources related to Yibum. Let's at least start this, and then we'll plan. The Mishnah tells us in getting our feet wet in Yevamos a little bit. The Mishnah tells us in the beginning of Parak Haba al Yevimto. Yevamos Nun Gimel. Yevamos Nun Gimel. The Gemara tells us, the Mishnah tells us, Haba al Yevimto. Somebody has deal with their Yevama, Bein B'Shogeg, Bein B'Mezid. What does Shogeg mean? He doesn't realize this is his Yevama, Bein B'Mezid. Mezid, he thinks he's having his Snus. Bein B'Ones, Bein B'Ratzon. Doesn't matter. Yibum works. The Yibum works even though he has no idea that he's doing the mitzvah. He thinks he's being mizana with an Eish Ish, and he ends up having beer with his Yevama. They're married, right? That's Yibum. Bein B'Ones, Bein B'Ratzon v'chulu. What does that show us? There's something automatic. Once that physical act of Yibum is done, you need kavana for a physical act. That's it. That's why I gave you the continuation of the Gemara. It's a very unusual case. The Gemara talks about it. Somebody falls off a roof and falls onto a woman and is boil her and happens to be his Yevama. Wacky case. But the Gemara says that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Why? Because he didn't even have kavanah for the act. Let's say, again, a very unusual case. Let's say he's sleeping. Or the Gemara says, I didn't give you the Rambam to look up. You look up the Rambam. What if the guy is totally drunk, stone drunk, he has no idea what's going on? And he has bia at that time with his Yivama. Also, the Rambam says, no good, no Yibum. Because you need at least kavanah for the Maisa. You need kavanah for the act, the Maisa bia. That's what the Rashi says on the top of Nun Gimel, of Nun Daled. A Yashin is not a Bardatz. A Katan who's 9 years old or above can do Yibum, technically. There's a 10-year-old Yavam who's Miyabim, that works, because he could do a Maisa. Above 9, it is halachically a Maisa bia. But in the regular case, it's automatic. There's an automatic kinyan here. What does that show? What does that show? There's something about Yibum that once the act is done, something kicks in. Something kicks in. There's a result achieved, even without kavana. There's a huge chiddush of the Minchas Chinuch. I gave it to you. We could have a whole shiur on this Minchas Chinuch, but I'm just going to mention it quickly. The Minchas Chinuch in Av Kuf Tzadi Ches. What does he say? Somebody tell me, if somebody saw it, what's the chiddush of the Minchas Chinuch? Somebody does Yibum in one of these ways. Shogeg, Onis, whatever. Yeah? Why?
As long as he doesn't have negative kavanah, it works.
It works for the kinyan.
It works for Yibum, but he would still have to do another act with having intention to do Yibum.
The Minchas Chinuch says there's two aspects to Yibum, the kinyan and the mitzvah. He says in all these cases, you think it's an Eishes Ish, you think it's whoever, you're koneh, the Yibum kinyan works, but you did not fulfill the mitzvah of Yibum. Says the Minchas Chinuch. If a man, does this, he hasn't done the mitzvah yet. In his scorecard in Shamayim, he was koneh her, but he did not do the mitzvah of Yibum. It's a kinyan of Yibum. Yeah. But in Shamayim, you didn't get any mitzvah. It's a strichas kavana, says the Minchas Chinuch. But you have to have kavana for the mitzvah. That's unbelievable. There are a lot of assumptions in the Minchas Chinuch. Number one, and get these down. I think if there's any more than the ones I'm going to mention. Number one, you might say, what are you talking about? Two aspects of Yibum? There's one aspect of Yibum. The mitzvah is the kinyan. That's it. What are you talking about? The mitzvah of Yibum is to be koneh the Yavama, period. He's saying the kinyan and the mitzvah. You might reject the entire basis of the Minchas Chinuch. Yibum is one thing. There's a mitzvah of Yibum, which is to be koneh the Yavama. One way to reject the Minchas Chinuch. Or you might go one step less. Maybe you agree there are two aspects. You agree there are two aspects. But maybe they're connected. You can't do one without the other. If you did the kinyan, you did the mitzvah too. Automatic. If you shecht an animal, and you have kavanah for a mitzvah, but you didn't get the mitzvah of shechita. There's one thing: you shecht the animal, you do the mitzvah. So number one, you might say, I reject the Minchas Chinuch totally. There's one idea. There's a mitzvah of Yibum, which is the kinyan. Number two, no. There's two aspects. You're right. They're connected to each other. Once you do the mitzvah, you automatically do the. Once you do the kinyan, you automatically do the mitzvah. Or a third, maybe there are two aspects. And even if they're not connected, you might say, Minchas Chinuch, you're right. If you didn't have kavanah, you only did the kinyan. But you blew it. You don't have another chance. You're married. You didn't do the mitzvah. You didn't do the mitzvah, okay? Tough luck. You can't do the mitzvah separately from the kinyan. If you had kavanah when you did the kinyan, great, you did the mitzvah. And if you didn't have kavanah, no mitzvah. You're married. I'll give you a mashal to that third point. We might have discussed this last year, those who were in the chair last year. Hiddur mitzvah. Did you do a hiddur mitzvah after you finished the mitzvah? This was Reb Chaim's kasha. Reb Chaim and the Beis Halevi, all the Soloveitchiks talked about this question. You have two esrogim. One esrog is a gorgeous esrog, beautiful. You spent $1,000 on it. Beautiful esrog. It's a safek morkav. It might be puzzle. It might be a lemon, literally. Right? So it's beautiful. It might be a lemon. You have another esrog? That's fine. Okay. It's vadai kosher. But it's not hadar. So you want to do the mitzvah of dalaminim. Which esrog? You're going to pick up both of them. Which one do you pick up first? Which one do you pick up first? So you might think you pick up the one that's vadai kosher first. Vadai kosher. Why? You want to make sure you do the mitzvah. Says Reb Chaim, no. Because if you pick up the one that's vadai kosher, you're finished. You're done. Nothing to talk about. Pick up the other one. Because if it's kosher, you're doing a mitzvah in a beautiful way. If it's puzzle, okay. You didn't do the mitzvah yet. You're about to do it in a minute. It's not a hefsek, because it's all the tzarach of the mitzvah. But once you do the mitzvah, you're done. You can't do hiddur afterwards. So you did the mitzvah. You didn't do it in a beautiful way. So you might say the same thing here. Even if you're right, Minchas Chinuch, there's a kinyan and there's a mitzvah, and they're separate. It could be once you do the kinyan, you're finished. You can't do the mitzvah anymore. Rabbi, I'll take your question in a second. But again, Minchas Chinuch emphasizes this idea of kinyan and mitzvah. But our point, number one, about Yibum is it's clear. There's something automatic about the physical act of Yibum. There's something automatic about it. Right when it's done, is at least a kinyan. What does that tell me about Yibum? What does that tell me about Yibum? So maybe it connects to Rebbe Elchanan. Yeah, Avraham, you had a question.
According to this third approach, where you did the mitzvah and you're married now, but you missed the mitzvah, then you were just over one of the arayos. Because if you didn't do Yibum and you just married your brother or sister, it's not okay.
That's a great question, because if you say if you say you need the mitzvah to be docha the arayos, asi docha lo saseh, then I think that question is great. There is a discussion in the poskim whether Yibum is what's called hutra or dechuya. Meaning, is it hutra, the isser of Eishes Ach disappears, or is it dechuya, you need the aseh? So you're right. If you say it's dechuya, so to speak, the isser still exists, but you're doing a mitzvah, then I agree with you. Asi docha say you need. But if you say that it's more of a hutra, in this situation, the isser disappears, so then you might say that it's a very good, very important ha'ara. Eli, is that your hand up? No. Good. Let me just say one more line, and then I guess we'll continue with this. Maybe we'll spend half the year tomorrow on this just to finish up. I'm not sure. Or maybe if I want to do the Rabbi Chanan, maybe I don't wait till 4 days till Sunday. We'll see. I'll let you know about what we'll do. But either way, think about this Minchas Chinuch more. I think it's a fascinating Minchas Chinuch and the Yibum. Rabbi Chanan, hopefully you saw that Kovetz Haaretz, talks about two types of maisim. Two types of maisim. Just to mention it quickly. And then we'll go through the details tomorrow or Sunday. Some maisim, I do a physical act and I'm in control of the chalos that happens from the physical act. I control everything. It's me. And other times, no. I do the physical act and memela, the result happens, but it's not from me. For example, I shecht. Did I make the animal kosher? What if I'm thinking, it's not kosher. It's not. I'm a shochet, and I'm thinking in my mind, it's not kosher. It's not kosher. It's not kosher. And I shecht. It's kosher. It's kosher. What if I shecht and I say, it's only going to be kosher if it rains tomorrow, and it doesn't rain? It's kosher. You have no control of that effect. Once you do the physical act, it happens memela. Marriage is very different. It's an act that I am totally in control of. We'll get to more of the details tomorrow, B'ezras Hashem, or Sunday. Where does Yibum fall in this regard? Which type of act is Yibum? The category 1 or category 2? That's going to be our shaila. Eidim, as we'll talk about, is going to be a litmus test. Like Gemara in Kedushin that hopefully you saw. Rashi, Tosfos, Ritva. Let me just say the punchline before we come back to this next time. If we say a Yibum is category like Shchita, it's something about being automatic. Like once you do the physical thing, memela. Once you do the physical act of Yibum, memela, you become a husband, and there's something automatic. Maybe then we can understand more to counter the Ritva's point about there being shovin. What the Ritva say? The son is automatic. The brother has to do something. But if we say that the brother's doing something, yeah, he has to pull the trigger, but then it's also automatic, and maybe there's more of a parallel between the son and the brother. And think about that because it's something that I think bears thinking about. Again, if you say it's the second category, koach ha'maisa not koach ha'adam, as Rabbi Chanan's words are, and I think it's to be more parallel and an ach, and then we could answer up the Ritva's fine. Okay, yeah, somebody had a question, a hand up. Jonathan, you had a hand up?